Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this 2 p.m. League Apps learning session, Leveling Up Your Game. For those of you that were with us from 12:30 to 1:30, we went through a few parts of our League Apps console. Whether you are a current League Apps partner or part of our broader community, you're welcome to this session. We'll be going through two parts: reporting and insights and communications and resources that you have available to you from League Apps. And we will also dive into a concept about account health audits. I touched on this earlier today. We are exploring this new audit concept for our League Apps partners to make sure that every single account, whether you've been with us for just a few months or many years, that every account is using the most valuable features that are a part of our platform and using them in a way that is best for your business, your organization, and your participants. So everyone that's joining today will get an audit directly to your email inbox in the next day or so that will guide you through step-by-step 8 categories of the League Apps platform that are most impactful and valuable for you to use. There are linked to help guides, navigation tips, best practices within the audit, and if you want help or time to review it with a League Apps specialist, we are happy to do that as well. So if you're listening in, you will be getting an audit. It will be coming from my teammate, Chris. So keep an eye out in your inbox, and we're happy to walk you through it. The way we've designed the League Apps learning sessions today are to work hand in hand with the audit, going through different categories that are most important for you to be aware of with your League Apps account. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Tyler Storch, a senior support specialist on our team here. He's going to walk you through part 1, reporting and insights, for the next 25 minutes or so. We have a Q&A widget on the Zoom webinar. Please put questions in there. We'll get to them live. We also have Brittany Dunn on the line from our support team that I'm sure many of you know. She will be responding to questions live, and we'll get to a little Q&A portion at the end if time allows. So Tyler, I will turn it over to you to start. Thank you.
Hey everyone, hope everyone is having a great day so far. Thank you for the introduction, Joanna. I'm Tyler, a senior support specialist here at League Apps. I've been at League Apps for 2 years now. I have a great passion for this platform because I came up as an admin, as an organizer like all of you. My father, he started using League Apps before I joined the company, so I saw the value it brought him, and I'm excited to teach you guys the value that especially our reporting and insights features can bring to you guys, especially during this time in our world where data is so important. Just being aware of, who's on what payment plan or who's registering for what program, all that's super important during this time in our world. So just excited to walk you through that right now. I'm going to be walking you through 6 different reports today. I think these are probably our most important and valuable 6 reports on the platform. I'll walk you through each one real quick right now with a quick summary, then we'll hop into a test site and give you a walkthrough of each feature. So we'll start with the cross-site reports. We have a bunch of different cross-site reports, basically meaning if you have sub-sites, if you want to segment your business on League Apps, you have the ability to create sub-sites. Let's say you have a baseball portion of your business and a basketball portion of your business. You could have multiple sub-sites with information on each one. Those cross-site reports allow you to dig into information all across your account and just see all that one place. Then we have the registration report. This is a report that's going to give you a lot of great information about who's registering, information about them, etc. The League Apps Gateway report, which is through our in-house gateway, League Apps Gateway. You're going to have reporting features all around that. The fees related to each purchase, keeping track of transfers, all of that. Then we have the payment plan report. This one's especially important right now, especially with coronavirus going on. It's a great way to keep track of payment plans. If someone has a 12 installment payment plan, it's a great way to see what's coming up this month, what's coming up next month. There's actually a screenshot on the screen right now of this, so I'll take you through a little bit later. It's a very powerful feature during these times. The transaction detail report is going to give you more information about, transactions, what people are paying for, the fees related to that. And then the transaction summary report, which is going to give you a nice walkthrough of all of your programs, the net amount collected for each one, the amount coming in for each one, etc. So I'm going to hop into my test site right now. And we're going to go through each of those right now to give you a visual. So we're going to start with the cross-site reports. This is my management console. It's basically the home page when you first log into your account. If I want to go down here and click on my name and then manage account, it's going to take me to some areas that control the entire account. So I might have subsites like I do here for portions of my business. If I click the top right, it's going to show a bunch of those. And note that only certain admin might have access to this. So if you don't see this, don't be worried. It might just be an admin level is a little bit higher than what you're using, but I'm going to walk you through the cross-site reports first here. These are going to be located up top. It's going to say account reports. There's going to be 3 different ones. We're going to start with a membership report. So this is a really cool report. Like I said, if you have multiple subsites, all different portions of your business, it's going to be a place where you can see all of your members of all of your different sides of your business in one place. So for example, Dave right here, he's a member of multiple different subsites, and I can see all the different subsites he's a member of and his username. When someone's registering, they could use the same username and password within all of your different subsites. So it's going to give you a listing of that. You could filter by name up top. If someone wants to be eliminated from a lot of different subsites, you can click the X next to them and eliminate them. You could also filter by username, date joined, the last login up top. It's just a great way to get a feel for your member base across the entire platform, not just one subsite. So let's go back for a second and go to the second cross-site report, which is invoices. And I'm going to pause for a second, just got let you guys know, if you guys have a question throughout this webinar, feel free to ask a question. There's a Q&A button on your screen. You can click that, and Brittany will be answering questions live. If we have time at the end, I'll be answering questions live, so feel free to ask any questions you have that may come up. So this is the invoices report for the organization. This is going to include all of your different subsites, just like the last one, and it's going to include all of your different invoices. So it's going to give you a listing of the invoice number, the program, what site it's from, etc. Every invoice has an invoice number that you can click into. It takes you directly to that invoice. So if I just want to make an adjustment to this invoice, I could do it right there from that report. You could filter up top by date and widen the report to include more information. You could sort by valuable things like last transaction date or payment deadline status, amount billed, all types of different things, as well as search by invoice number up top. And all of our reporting pages in the top right will have this export to CSV option. So you could export a report, you could pick and choose what different filters you want on that report, and then you could have a really nice report in Excel of all that information to keep on your computer or whatever you want to do with it. You'll have all that information on hand. Let's go back one more time for the last cross-site report, which is the transactions. So this is going to show all the different transactions coming in across your entire business. So whether there's a baseball payment coming in or a basketball payment coming in, whatever subsite it's coming from, it's going to show up here. And you're going to see the type of payment. It could be a voided invoice, a card payment, an offline payment that was logged. You'll see the payment status in this column, some information about the net amount collected versus the transaction amount, the site over here. All these are clickable links that take you directly to, let's say, the program. If I want to go right to the program, you can go right to if I click this pay button right here, it'll take me right to the invoice. So everything's clickable. It takes you right to the information about them. Same with the member. If I want to get to his profile specifically, I can just click his name. And again, on the top right, if you click export to CSV, there's more filter options. You could pick and choose what you want on it. It's a great way to see everything in one place. And then the second is the transaction summary right here. This is going to kind of group together all the different programs. So if I just want to see, let's say, this is really powerful because I can go back and see, let's say, 2020 travel hockey season. I want to see exactly how much the Mini Mite program took in. I could see that number. I could see the net amount collected. It's a really quick way to see how much each program you run across your entire business is taken in. So those are a good picture of the organization-wide reports. Now we're going to just hop into one of the subsites. We'll choose baseball, for example, here. And these next 5 reports are just going to be for the baseball subsite. So these are just specifically for baseball rather than organization-wide. We're going to start with number 2, the registration report. We're going to go to reporting in blue on the right side here, and then registrations. And here we can filter up top by date. I'm going to filter back to January 1st so I can get a really nice feel of who's been registering since January 1st. There's also other filters like program type, sport, gender. And that's going to give me a log of everyone that's registered since January 1st. It's going to give me a lot of different information about them as well. It's still clickable links across the entire page, like the invoice or the program. But the cool thing about this one could be really helpful during this crazy time in our world. If you click export to CSV, you can get information about each player that they filled out. So let's say they filled out a form field for their t-shirt size or their jersey number, or you want to know, let's say you want to know if they use a discount code. That could be really important, or whether they use the credit. This could be a place where you can look that up and find out what payment plan they're on, what credit they, if they apply to credit, any information they've entered for form fields during program registrations. All that's at your fingertips here, and you could export to CSV using that action right there. So this is a really cool report. Gives you a lot of information about players on your site. Really recommend using that report for all types of purposes, really. Next, we'll move into the League Apps Gateway report. So League Apps Gateway is our in-house payment gateway. We do offer others like Stripe, Authorize, and PayPal. Really recommend this one though. Everything's done through us. There's no monthly bill. It's just one all-in rate that you're paying per transaction. And all the reporting is through us. So we can help you out with any question you have regarding, reporting related questions. We're there. We see all the reporting and we can guide you. So I'm going to walk you through quickly what this looks like. We have the incoming funds. You can see at all times what's coming in next. What will be my next transfer? You'll see that on this side right here. On this side right here, you'll see past information. So you'll see what your last transfer was. On June 10th, I was given almost $3,000 and it was transferred to my bank account. And since I joined League Apps Gateway, since I set this up, I have made this amount of money and it's gone to my bank account. So there's also a bunch of different tabs up top. If I click transfers, this is a really good one. It's going to show all the different transfers or deposits into your bank account. So it'll show the bank account number it went to. You can filter by date up top again. You can export as well. But you can also go into each transfer and see exactly common quote get. So I see what made my June 8th transfer. Well, it's right on this page. If you click the view payments button, you're going to be able to see exactly what makes up each transfer. You're going to see the net amount collected for each one, what site they came from, if this gateway is attached to multiple subsites, all types of information, who the people paying are. It's a really great report to give you a feel for that. And then you also have the payments report, which is just going to show you a general listing of payments coming in. But this one's really cool as well. Let's hop over to the balance report. So the balance report is going to show you basically anything affecting your balance in League Apps. So this could include transfers to your bank account, payments coming in, refunds. So you see a refund down here. You see a payment adjustment. Like let's say, you're supposed to be owed fees back for refunds that you gave. That's something you could see here. It's everything affecting your bank account, essentially. It's all here. Disputes. So if this is a very, we never like to see disputes, but if disputes come in, someone disputes a charge, this is definitely relevant during this crazy time in our world. There's a place here where it's going to ask you to submit evidence. You could submit evidence through League Apps. It's going to go to the bank who decides the outcome, but we can advise you on some good evidence to submit, give you some best practices there, and you can handle that all through our platform. So you don't have to go back and forth between a third party. Everything's here, which is a great value and benefit of being on League Apps Gateway. And then account info. This is basically going to show you, who the account is under name-wise, the bank account info, all that. You can restrict this to only the owner of the account, so don't worry about admins having access to this. It's very easy to restrict who has access to this. And yeah, that's really a good run through of our League Apps Gateway dashboard. Let's move on to the fourth report, which is the payment plan report. Like I said, this one's super important during this crazy time. Let's go to reporting and then payment plans. So here it's going to show basically a listing of all of your payment plans information like when the next installments are due, how many people have paid on those specific payment plans. And by payment plans, I basically mean, let's say you want to set up a scenario where everyone's paying on the 15th of each month for 12 months. That would be termed a payment plan in our system. You can track those all here. So let's say I want to see for the next 30 days what payment plans are hitting. I'll see on the left side here that there's a June 12th payment plan hitting. There's a few different June 15th ones, July 1st and July 2nd. Let's say, a specific example here that could be valuable. Let's say a parent or a few parents want their June 15th installment moved back. I could go to this report. I see there's June 15th installments here. If I click show details, it's going to take me to a listing of everyone who's on a June 15th installment plan. And I can go right to their invoice here to make any adjustments I want using the pencil icon. So it's a really quick way to just see, all the payment plans, where they're at, who's paying soon, anything like that. You could also, it's a good way to spot if people aren't making payments. And let's say you have a certain payment plan where you're noticing there's a lot outstanding. It's a good way to get on top of that ahead of time. So there's a lot of great use cases here. It's very relevant in the world of COVID-19 where things are getting pushed back and return to play is very muddy. So definitely recommend this report if you have payment plans. Let's move on to our second to last report here. That is the transaction detail report. We looked at something similar just before with the cross-site ones, but this one's going to be just for League Apps Baseball, like I said. So this one, if you click show filters at the top, there's going to be a lot of great ways you could filter this. So a very common question I'll hear is, how do I filter out voids and offline payments? This is a great report to do that. So you could, check the boxes up top or uncheck them and get a good listing of your payments coming in without any offline payments included. You could also just only have your refunds. If you want to just see all the refunds you've given during a certain time range, it's another great way to do that all in one place. You can filter by live, upcoming, or unpublished programs. So each program has a program state you could put it in. Let's say you only want to see your, most current programs there. You could do that by filtering by program state. There's a lot of other great, ways to filter up top. But the main use case of this report, I would say, is it gives you a nice listing of not only program registrations, but also e-commerce products. If you sell those, they're going to be listed on this report too. So products and program registrations will all be in one place. It'll show you in this column where they're coming from. It'll show you who the member is, and you'll be able to see the net amount collected. So it gives you a nice feel for how much you're taking in after fees are being, taken off by League Apps. So it gives you more of a real feel for how much you're actually taking in. And top right, again, you can pull a report from here. There's a lot of great filters here. You could see the bank transfer information for some of these, the bank transfer dates. So if you want a listing of payments and you also want to see what date they were transferred to your bank account, this is a great report for that. That's something I hear pretty often from our organizers. Yeah, so that's a good run through of this. Again, you can go and filter too if you want to see more information. I can go back for the entire year. It's going to give you all that information right here. So let's move on to our transaction summary report now. Once again, this is only for League Apps Baseball. So I said this before for a second, but if you want to basically see a listing of every program you've ever run on League Apps, even if you deleted them. So these two were even deleted and I still have a listing of them reporting wise. If I want to see, like, let's say the 2020-17 U team, how much did that team bring in? Very easy to do that. Just come to the program or the transaction summary report. You're going to see a listing of all the different teams, and you're going to see a listing of the amount paid, the net amount collected. It's clickable. So it'll take you to this report to get more of a feel for what includes that, what makes up that number. And yeah, it's a really great way to see all that information. You could filter up top very similarly to the transaction detail report actually, but this one's basically just a way of grouping that all together and viewing it more on a program basis versus just a simple, all the transactions coming in basis. And yeah, that would be a walkthrough of all the 6 reports we mentioned. I wanted to throw it back to Joanna now. We're going to go through some questions that you guys had. And yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you, Tyler. That was awesome. All these reports, I think, touch on a lot of the key elements that business owners need insight to right now, such as financials and registration metrics. So this was very helpful. A few questions. Where can a League Apps administrator find a discount code or a credit to see if they were used?
Yep. So the easiest way to do that, I would say, is go to reporting on whatever subsite the person registered on. Go to reporting and then registrations. Now, if I want to open up the range just a bit, I'll go back to January 1st just as an example here. There's going to be a lot of export options up top. So one of them is going to be discount. It's going to be right here. You'll see what discount code they entered when they registered. And there's also one for credit applied. So if you export a report, you're going to have all that information on the user and you'll be able to see if they used a credit or a discount code when they registered. Good question.
Awesome. Thank you. Another one. What would be the best report for a League Apps administrator to see how much they've paid in League Apps fees for a given program? So, if they're reconciling their profit and loss statement for a program and they want to account for their technology fees, what would be the best report for them to use?
Got it. Yep. I would say if you go to reporting and then transactions, let's go back to that transaction summary report we ended with. I think this is probably the best way to do that. So if you want to open up the filters just a bit, it's going to show you a nice picture of your programs. And all you really have to do is just subtract the total amount paid by the net amount collected. It'll give you kind of a good picture of how much you're paying League Apps, how much you're taking in. That's probably the best way to go about that, I would say.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, that net amount collected is what is representing what the organizer is collecting after the League Apps fees are paid out. So finding the difference between those two, the total and the net. That's what you're saying, right?
Yep, correct.
Okay, awesome. And then this is a popular topic right now because of, unfortunately, the level of refunds the sport industry is facing. But can you just talk about what happens to fees, processing fees, when a refund is issued?
Yep. So that's a very common question around these times. When people are registering, obviously there's fees that are coming out. You see that reflected on your Gateway dashboard. A common question we get is, like you said, what happens to those fees when you give a refund? So the answer is, when you give a refund, the person who paid is getting back the entire amount that they paid. And then the fees associated with that are being credited back to you as the organizer. So let's say someone paid $200. They're going to get back their $200. Any fees associated with that will be credited back to the organizer, and you will see that reflected on your Gateway dashboard in the coming days or weeks.
Wonderful. We had a question come in from Timothy about cross-referencing what hits the bank. And this is obviously very important to understand. Tyler touched on the transaction detail report, which I think is the gold standard financial report. If you have an accountant, make sure they're aware of that report. But what Timothy is interested in is cross-referencing what hits the bank and what program they're coming from. Again, probably to manage those P&Ls on a program level. So Tyler, can you just talk through the best way to do that?
Yeah, like you said, if you go to reporting and then transactions, the transaction detail report is great for this. So it's going to give you a listing of all the payments coming in, the programs they're from, and also if you click the export button up top, there's going to be a bank transfer date filter option here. So you can really pull a report with all the payments coming in, what program they're from, and the bank transfer date. It's a really easy way to consolidate and see that information in one place.
Awesome. Can you also, so there's actually another way also through the Gateway dashboard. So can you show that as well? Because I think what you just showed is great to look at a lot of a lot of different registrations across a lot of different dates, but say they want to go the opposite way, they see a deposit in their bank account for $5,000, how do they know what is included in that $5,000?
Gotcha. Yeah, so if we go to reporting and then Gateway Dashboard again, it's going to bring us back to our Gateway Dashboard here. If I click the Transfers tab, let's say June 2nd is the day you want to look into. There's going to be a View Payments button next to June 2nd, and that's going to show all the payments that make up that June 2nd transfer. So you'll see all the different people involved, all the different programs involved, and the amount of each payment. So that's a great way to see everything included in each transfer.
Wonderful. And yep, this would list your refunds. And then a common question we get here as well is sometimes where it says payment under type, you'll see that's a refund if it's a refund. And then there's also this word called adjustment. We get a lot of questions on that. That is the returning of the fees that you paid. So an adjustment will always be a positive number, and it's pretty much us giving back the money that you paid on the transaction when you make a refund. So I think that is all the questions we have for this session. Tyler, thank you so much. This was very helpful.